It is time to leave your worries outside and laugh with us inside the Treehouse. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. Today is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. I'm coming out strong today, boys. Hitting you hard and fast because I have thumbs. You know what else has thumbs? Raccoons. Quick question. Does anyone have pet raccoon holding a meth pipe on their 2025 bingo cards?
Can't say I do.
It's a tough game to win year in, year out. But if you do happen to have that on your bingo card, congratulations, because you can mark that one off. An Ohio woman was arrested after her pet raccoon named Chewy was found holding a meth pipe in the driver's seat of her car in what police are calling a strange encounter on patrol. The incident occurred Monday when a Springfield Township police officer decided to conduct a traffic stop after identifying a vehicle whose registered owner had an active warrant and a suspended driver's license. Thinking, hey, maybe this will be the jackpot of the day. I get a big bust and I can go back to the patrol house and go like, look what I did. And then the body cam captured the footage of them searching the vehicle. And that's when they found Chewy, the pet raccoon, holding drug paraphernalia. But not just any drug paraphernalia, a meth pipe. Yeah. When the officer approached the car, he found 55-year-old Victoria Vidal of Akron, Ohio, and was able to detain her without incident. However, according to the police statement, that's when things took an unusual turn. The officer returned to the vehicle and he observed a raccoon named Chewy sitting in the driver's seat with a meth pipe in its mouth. This, of course, led officers to further inspect the vehicle. That search revealed her car contained a bulk amount of methamphetamine, crack cocaine, and 3 used glass methamphetamine pipes. You know how people that get caught with drugs usually say it's not mine?
Mm-hmm.
This is one case where I might believe her. I mean, we are talking about one of the only other animals besides humans that have thumbs. So if there's a creature on this planet besides people able to smoke some meth, it'd probably be a raccoon.
Yeah, that'd be the first thing I said. I'm like, hey, guys, I need to talk to you. Chewy's got a problem.
I'm being held hostage by this drug dealer.
He is so high right now. I am scared.
I wouldn't go in there if I were you. I'd call SWAT.
I know I have a suspended license. I'm just trying to get him to rehab.
He had a gun to my head and told me I had to.
I just want to see a raccoon with meth teeth.
I just want to see it light a lighter.
Yeah. I have the utmost confidence in the species to do all those things. I really do. And what's sad about this is I watched the video and it is sad. It's a very sad thing to see a police officer searching through this car that looks like this lady may live in it. Or maybe it's just the raccoon's house. I don't know. And she's just renting. But it is sad when you look in the driver's seat and you see this little adorable raccoon, but it really does have a glass meth pipe in its mouth. It's not smoking anything. It's not lit, but he clearly knows what to do with it.
Yeah, he's just mimicking what she did. But I mean, again, going back to it, I would, if they walked up, I'm like, thank God you guys are here.
Yeah, I mean, it really is the only animal that you can probably blame, and the legal system, the judicial system, may have to actually hear you out.
Yeah, because it's plausible deniability, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just has. I mean, look, Trey, you're the legal expert inside the Treehouse, so I'm sure you would tell us that it's the state's burden to convince a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And I believe Chewy could be that 1% that could creep into jurors' minds and think, well, maybe she is innocent. Maybe it's the raccoon's fault.
The meth panda.
Yes, ladies and I will act as the defense attorney. Ladies and gentlemen, my client is innocent. The real guilty party here is the meth panda, and then point at in the courtroom. Point at the panda.
You see Chewy going through withdrawals. she just runs a raccoon rescue. She's just trying to help.
You can't save them all, lady. Sometimes, I mean, I appreciate the effort, but sometimes you just got to let one go so you can save two others.
And if it is her, isn't 55 a little old to start doing meth? Like, I don't know. I'm almost 50 and I have no desire to start doing drugs. Like,
No, I'm with you. I don't know what the average age is for meth usage. I do know that no matter what age you start, after you've done it a few times, you do look like you're in your 50s.
yes.
I mean, I've seen some mugshots of meth heads that were in their 20s that looked like they were AARP age. No offense, Trey and Raj.
You can be any.
You're close. Don't.
I know, but I'm not there yet, which means I'm gonna throw a couple of jabs where I can while I can.
But you can sign up now. They've changed the rules, Daniel.
They
You
need
can
to
be an
market.
AARP.
Like I've said it before, they need to market that better. It's like you can join AARP at any age, but the problem is no one wants to because no one wants to be associated as being old.
Yes, that is true.
But I wouldn't mind the discounts.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, it is the state's liability to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So I think, as bizarre as it sounds, I think that's the angle you go.
It is,
you know.
Yeah. And I think then whoever the prosecutor is in Ohio has to call some DA in Florida and go, how do I handle this? Because surely there's
because if there's a state with a precedent.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
Let's get Daniel Cook from Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration into the Treehouse now. Daniel, we've talked a lot over the past couple of years about how great you are at residential roofing, and you guys not only benefit homeowners but business owners as well.
Absolutely, Dan. I mean, we kind of stumbled into the commercial market. We had several business owners that were homeowners of, obviously. We work on their homes. We showed them the quality of work, what we could do. They asked us if we had experience in other roofing. We said, yes, we do. They said, hey, come out and look at my business. And these are all kinds of different roofs: flat roofs, mod bit roofs, metal roofs, construction of all types and commercial applications. Sometimes they're on, 9-story buildings. Sometimes they're on a single-story building. And so we are able to handle commercial as well. Commercial is very complicated, though. There's a lot of different facets. It is a different construction animal because codes are different from commercial to residential, the type of materials, the type of silicones, acrylics, on and on and on. But yes, we do have commercial experience. We're very, very on top of the commercial world and how important it is for commercial business owners not to shut their business down with water leaks, floods, different things like that. We can come out and get those stopped and make sure your business is not interrupted. So absolutely give us a shout. We'd love to come out and help your businesses.
833-COOK-DFW, taking care of your home and your business. 833-COOK-DFW or that website, cookdfw.com.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
This segment of the Treehouse is brought to you by Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. Whether it's your house, your mom's house, your cousin's house, your brother's house, just a friend's house, if they've had storms recently, have them call Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration, or better yet, do it for them. 833-COOK-DFW. Take advantage of that free roof inspection from Daniel Cook and his very fine team at Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. 833-COOK-DFW or the website cookdfw.com. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan. He's Trey. That's Raj. Today is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. You know how terms can get redefined throughout the years, and we have to change what we think our definition is of that word? I cannot think of a better example than these two words right here, because I know that we all think we know the definition for raw dogging and barebacking, right? We know the OG definitions of those words, but I don't know if it's the 21st century. I don't know if it's Gen Z redefining things and manipulating labels, whatever the case is. Someone saw fit to change the definitions of raw dogging and barebacking, because no longer do they have sexual connotation. Now they have to do with travel.
No.
Yeah. Are you familiar with these terms when it comes to the travel industry?
No.
All right. I will happily enlighten you as to the new definitions of raw dogging and barebacking. Last year, raw dogging became popular. Raw dogging was where you are on a flight and you avoid all technology and entertainment while flying, and you just stare at the seat in front of you. That is raw dogging from 2024. I believe its source. What is it, Trey?
Or flying in the 80s.
Yeah, also known as just flying in the 20th century.
Our childhoods.
Yeah, exactly. when the American Way magazine was actually interesting, because you didn't have any other options. It was either that or the emergency card. So you went with the American Way magazine. But I believe that someone has sourced all the way back to an episode of Seinfeld where Patrick Warburton's character was on a flight with Elaine, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, and he just stared at the seat in front of him the entire time. So I think that's where this started. And then newer generations, as they're going through and watching our older television shows, they decide to make it a new trend. So that's where raw dogging, the new version, was born. So raw dogging 2024, 2025 means you avoid all technology, all entertainment, and you just stare at the back of the seat in front of you for the entirety of the flight, as if that's some sort of a feat to be admired. And now there's barebacking. Barebacking is the new trend that you do on a train or a subway, especially while commuting. So if you're on your way to work, you bareback, which is you don't do any phone, video games. You don't even read a book or a newspaper or a magazine if you can find them. So same thing as raw dogging, but it's on your way to work or whatever, or it's on a train. You're just avoiding all technology and you're just sort of stone-faced until you get to your destination.
Why?
Great question, Trey. I'm right there with you.
Mhm.
Why deprive yourself of all the advancements of man? Because you're right, Trey. We went through this crap when we were kids where you had nothing to do. You mean when you were a kid, you might be allowed to bring a couple of toys on board or something, maybe something like a coloring book or something. But nowadays, you have an amazing variety of entertainment at your fingertips. Why would you choose to push that away? It's so nice.
I mean, it is indicative of generations that are used to it. I mean, I remember when the Walkman came out and what a revolutionary thing that was. You could take your music to go and listen to it. You know, it was huge. It's people that are so used to entertainment at their fingertips. Now it's a novelty to not.
Yeah, you're right. It basically boils down to perspective and appreciation. So if you're a younger person who has grown up with this technology your entire life, you don't have the appreciation or the perspective that us older people do. That if I don't have something ready to watch on a flight, I am distressed. I'm like, what is that? Can I get something downloaded before we take off? And I no longer have the opportunity, because I remember what it was like in the dark ages when if I dropped my GI Joe on the floor of the plane, I got nothing to do until we land and they can find it. Nowadays, what happens? You drop your iPad, they turn the whole damn plane around and they land it. Not because you really need something to watch. It's actually because they're worried about it catching on fire. But still, you know, They don't.
I
They
rem-
never landed a plane for a GI Joe.
I remember when the long distance rates would go down after a certain time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can't call grandma till 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
which is real difficult because she's usually in bed by then. So you have like
Yeah.
a real thin window to contact friends and family.
So that's so raw dogging is on a plane, barebacking is on a subway, is donkey punching when you high five your friend at a petting zoo.
Maybe that's when you just let the donkey choose the movie.
Next thing you're going to tell us, there's a strap on doesn't mean what it used to.
I think that one's holding its ground pretty firm.
You think so, Dan?
He's making sure.
Hang on, let me look. Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, it's in there.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You can get even more Treehouse when you subscribe to Treehouse Plus. With Treehouse Plus, you get bonus content, things you don't hear on the normal radio show or podcast. You also get video portions of the show, and it's all available at patreon.com/treehouseonair. Bonus content, subscriber-only episodes, and video all available at patreon.com/treehouseonair. Subscribe to Treehouse Plus today. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. I have some shocking news for you guys. Turns out kids are expensive. Obviously, that's not new information. But according to new data, the average cost of raising a child all the way to the age of 18 has hit a national average of nearly $300,000. So it's not just egg prices that are getting expensive. It's not just shoes from China that are getting more expensive.
Technically, that is an egg price getting more expensive.
The
Yes.
egg prices may have played somewhat of a role, but as far as I know, there have been no new tariffs announced on children. In fact, I believe there's been floated the opposite option, which is maybe we just give anyone that has a kid $5,000 to help offset the nearly $300,000 cost of raising a kid. But yeah, it is true. A study analyzed the annual cost of raising a child, factoring in childcare, rent, transportation, clothing, food, although I don't know if they actually included the egg prices, health insurance, and more. The study found it costs an average of $297,674 to raise a child for 18 years in America. In Texas, it's actually a little bit less than the national average, so that's some good news. To raise a kid in Texas to the age of 18, it'll cost about $234,000. Which to me begs the question, what if you just stop at like 14?
Yeah.
It's like, you're on your own now. I'm done. I'm out of money. Mom and dad are broke. You have to go do something else now.
Yeah, I think you have to administer a test at a certain age. But it's like, you know what? Here's the deal. You're dumb. And I'm no longer, you need to get a job.
You know what? That's actually smart.
Anymore.
You're no longer a good investment. I'd say by the time they get to high school, you have probably a pretty good idea of what this kid's future is going to look like.
Yes. Yeah, you can tell, is this kid going to get a scholarship to college or not?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a not, you're going to do the work co-op starting your junior year. And then I'm done. I got you here.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, kids are more expensive than ever. Child labor laws prevent us from making them work for it like we used to. Because it really was like back in the day. I mean, the kids, it was expected that if like farmers or whatever the profession was in the household, the kids became immediate employees.
It's why you had kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's cheap labor.
Yeah. Exactly. And you wonder why now we're talking about, extinction of especially in the US, we're not reproducing fast enough to handle the decline in population. Like we were talking about in a couple of generations, there won't be any of us left.
So I don't think it's that bad. I think birth rates aren't as bad as some people are making it out to seem. It because like I saw a story, it said that birth rates are at a decline to where it's such that some family lineages may go extinct. Well, okay. Look, last I checked, there's over 8 billion people on this planet. COVID helped. That thinned out quite a bit. But the world finds a way to thin us as a herd, and I don't feel like the declining birth rates are that alarming. Or at least not enough to convince me to spend $300,000 on this thing.
I mean, you say that you don't believe the evidence. Look right in your screen. You have 3 40+ men who have no kids.
But people are still having kids. Look, Elon is doing more than his fair share.
But they say right now for the U.S. for population to survive, women need to be having 2.7 kids.
Yes, that's what we should do as a government. Let's tell women more of what they should be doing.
Yes. No, it's not more. I mean, it's just that's the number, and we're not even close.
And you know what? And I go back to I'm fine with it. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a kid, like I would mow lawns in the summer, or I would go door to door and sell stuff. Like my parents had a grocery store that kind of went under because of bad location, and they had all this stuff that I could sell. And I just went door to door, and I, without hesitation, would come home and give my money to my mother just to help out. And I would take like $10 and go to the little convenience store down the street and get candy and all that stuff. Like that was just like that was my job. It was like, my mom didn't mow the lawn, my dad didn't mow the lawn, we did. So we were labor. Like, and so if you're running out of labor, I get it. But then you have India and China on the other side when you're like, our population is declining, and India's like, we got you, buddy.
Yeah,
you can take some of us.
Hold our prophylactics.
Yeah,
because we obviously don't need them.
There's just going to be a lot of Patels farming in Iowa in about 30 years.
How'd this happen? Because
you forgot to have kids.
Yeah, y'all didn't screw it enough. That's exactly what happened. But is it really that bad, Trey? Is it really so bad that in a few generations, like what I mean is I don't think we're on the brink of going extinct as a species just because the birth rate has declined.
I mean, it's a couple of 100 years, but yeah, it is. I sent you an article about this.
And that's the one that I read where it said in there that in a couple of generations, certain lineages will go extinct, but I didn't see maybe I didn't read down far enough. I didn't see the part where it said the human population is going to be extinct because we're not having enough kids.
Well, no, not the human population, but like in the United States, we are not having, and it's not just, I think the most extreme example of it is South Korea, where they are saying they have like 2 generations and they will be basically extinct if they don't start having more kids.
I don't know what life is like in South Korea, but I know in the United States that when at the federal level, when it's floated, giving families $5,000 for having a baby, and the country laughs at it because they're like, "What's that? That doesn't even cover childcare." It's so expensive. As I just said, it's so expensive to raise a child. That's why a lot of us start looking at it more logically, like the 3 of us have, which is, okay, let me think down the entire list of reasons to, or maybe not to have kids. Is it something I really want? Okay, go to step 2. Can I afford it? No. All right, well, I'm done. So it's like you need to follow a process of whether or not, this makes sense for you.
I can barely afford my dog.
Exactly. And I'm going to love your dog, Trey, way more than any kid you might have.
It's because she's better.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
She probably does talk back.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
If you like the Treehouse Show, and I hope you do, you will love us on social media. So give us a follow at Treehouse On Air across all social media channels. That's at Treehouse On Air. Give us a follow today. We may even follow you back. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. Today is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. Trey, Raj, I have to admit, I screwed up 2 days ago. I screwed up very, very badly because I forgot something. Shocker, I know. I was reminded of it, though, and I would like to salvage it today. 2 days ago was the birthday of one Robert Adolph Bream. Not sure if that name sounds familiar to you guys, but it should, because all the way back in October, we shared the obituary for Robert Adolph Bream. And May 6th was his birthday. I have decided, since we read his obituary last year, that we should commemorate Mr. Bream on not just his death day, but we should also commemorate his life on his birthday. Well, that was 2 days ago, so we were a little bit late, but we're going to do it today because this is, without a doubt, the greatest obituary I have ever seen, and I think it's worth sharing at least once or twice a year on the day of his death and on the day of his birth. Would anyone care to object? Good. Because this is one of my favorite things ever. The obituary of Robert Adolph Bream on his birthday. Robert Adolph Bream, in accordance with his lifelong dedication to his own personal brand of decorum, muttered his last unintelligible and likely unnecessary curse on October 6th, 2024, shortly before tripping backward over some stupid mother effing thing and hitting his head on the floor. Robert was born in Winters, Texas, to the late Walter Bream and Betty Smith on May 6th, 1950, after which God immediately and thankfully broke the mold and attempted to cover up the evidence. Raised Catholic, Robert managed to get his wife Diane pregnant 3 times. He managed to get her pregnant fast enough to just barely miss getting drafted into the Vietnam War by fathering Michelle, John, and Charlotte between 1967 and 1972. Much later, with Robert possibly concerned about the brewing conflict in Grenada, Charles was born in 1983. This lack of military service was probably for the best, as when taking up shooting as a hobby in his later years, he managed to blow not 1 but 2 holes in the dash of his own car on 2 separate occasions, which unfortunately did not even startle, let alone surprise, his dear wife Diane, who was much accustomed to such happenings in his presence and may have actually been safer in the jungles of Vietnam the entire time. While the world was in conflict elsewhere, Robert made do by learning to roof, maintain traffic signs with the city of Amarillo, and eventually becoming a semi-professional truck driver, not to be confused with a professional semi-truck driver. With peace on the horizon, Robert's attention somewhat counterintuitively drifted to weapons of war. Spanning the historical and geographical spectrum of the Atlatl of 19,000 BC France, that part always gets me too. To the Semjabak of the 1830s Africa, to the Mosin Nagant N1891 of World War II era Soviet Union. So many examples of these mainstream hobbyist items from his small Clarendon, Texas apartment that one of them may very well have been the item referenced in his aforementioned eloquent final epitaph. A man of many interests, Robert was not to be entranced by historical weapons alone, but also had a penchant for fashion, frequently seen about town wearing the latest trend in homemade leather moccasins, a wide collection of unconventional hats, and mostly mismatched shirts and pants. Robert also kept a wide selection of harmonicas on hand, not to play personally, but to prompt his beloved dogs to howl continuously at odd hours of the night, to entertain his many neighbors, and occasionally to give to his many, many, many grandchildren and great-grandchildren to play loudly during long road trips with their parents. Earlier this year in February, God finally showed mercy upon Diane, getting her the hell out of there for some well-earned peace and quiet. Without Diane to gleefully entertain, Robert shifted his creative focus to the entertainment of you, the fine townspeople of Clarendon, Texas. Over the last 8 months, if you have not met Robert or seen his road show yet, you probably would have soon. We've all done our best to enjoy/weather Robert's antics up to this point, but he's God's problem now. Robert's farewell tour will be held Monday, October 14th at 10 a.m. at Memorial Park Funeral Home, 6969 East Interstate 40 Highway, Amarillo, Texas 79118. The family encourages you to dust off whatever outdated or inappropriate combination of clothing you have available to attend. A tip jar will be available in the front. Flowers are also. Once again, I would like to not only thank Robert Adolph Beam for the life and the times that he led, but for his remaining family for the most epic obituary ever written in the history of man, and really setting the bar for all future obituaries to come.
With the perfect amount of bitterness weaved in.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com. You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
It is time to advertise here inside the Treehouse Show. Sponsorship opportunities are available. If you're interested, just shoot us an email, treehouseonair, at gmail.com. That's treehouseonair at gmail.com to advertise right here inside the Treehouse. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan. He's Trey. That is Raj. It's time for birthdays because today is Thursday, May 8th, 2025. We celebrate today the birthdays of Olivia Culpo is 33. Arguably very attractive model and former Miss Universe who has dated Nick Jonas, Tim Tebow, Ryan Lochte, and Patriots wide receiver Danny Amendola. She was on The Masked Singer as the UFO. Now, I don't know Nick Jonas or Tim Tebow or Danny Amendola, but I do know Ryan Lochte a little bit from the brief reality show he had, and he's stupid. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Olivia Culpo has a type, and all these guys fit it. The Jonas brothers all seem to be somewhat bright kids. Tebow seems to be an intelligent guy. Danny Amendola, he survived the NFL, so he's got to be somewhat smart. I don't know how Ryan Lochte got in there.
Was Lochte the swimmer?
Yeah, Ryan Lochte was the idiot swimmer. The one that was always in what's his face's shadow.
Okay.
Phelps.
Yeah. Michael Phelps was the beast of the pool for a few Olympics. Well, Ryan Lochte was the guy in the corner drooling in it. Mm-hmm. That's about as accurate as I can make it. So Olivia Culpo is 33 today. He played Walter O'Brien on the TV show Scorpion. Elias Gable is 42. From Suits, Christina Cole is 43. Christina played Dr. Paula Agard. Speaking of Suits, Stephen Amell Amell, however you say his name. He's 44 today. He's best known as Oliver Queen / the Green Arrow on CW's Arrow show, but he is the star of the Suits spinoff, Suits LA. There you go. Again, I've never seen Suits. I've heard it's really good. Trey, I think you've watched it. You're a proponent of it, right?
Suits was a great show. And I have not watched the Suits LA. Just that's one of those things. I think they were just desperate for a show. And so they're like, let's see if we can capitalize on its popularity when It was just the cast of Suits was just really good. Gabriel Mock, Sarah Rafferty is fantastic, and the guy who played Lewis, I can't think of his name, but it's a fantastic cast. It was quirky, and that's one of those I don't think you can replicate it.
I'm not really big into. I should even say that. I was going to say I'm not really big into looks, and I realize it's like, well, I comment on it quite a bit. What I'm getting at is Gabriel Mock, the star of Suits. Do you know how old he is?
Mm-mm.
He's older than all of us. That dude's like in his mid 50s.
Yeah, that's
and he looks like maybe mid 30s. And it's freakish because we've talked about this a few times, and I think it's very worth pointing out again. The advancements we have made, I don't know if it's in moisturizer technology, I don't know if it's our diets, but we all look so much better at our age than people from previous generations did. Because Trey, how old was, remember, so the movie this is how we've talked about this before. Wilford Brimley is the quintessential old man from all of our youths. We know him as like an old guy. He was one of those guys kind of like Abe Vigoda. Looked like he was just born old, right? Wilford Brimley was one of the stars of the movie Cocoon, where it's about a bunch of retired people basically getting rejuvenated thanks to aliens and their cocoons. Trey, how old was Wilford Brimley in Cocoon?
50.
How old are you?
50.
That's not even, I mean, come on. I remember going to the theater and watching Cocoon. I mean, there's some really old people. And now we're all like that age. And I'm still shocked by that, how good we look compared to them. Yeah. Now, seeing someone like a Gabriel Mock, same thing. That dude's like 55, 56 years old, and he looks like he's 34. It's really impressive. And like I'm saying, I'm not that materialistic. I'm just looking at it from an observational standpoint. Like, how did we do that?
I mean, the Golden Girls were all around our age when they started.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. The mom, what was it? Estelle? Is that what her name was?
Estelle Getty. Yep.
She was the youngest one of the cast.
Yeah.
But
it is freakish to think that the cast of Cocoon
Rue McClanahan was 50 and when they started.
Still, that was Blanche, right? Rue McClanahan.
Yeah.
Rue McClanahan played Blanche in Golden Girls. Is your age, Trey? I mean, just put her photo next to your face and be like, these two are the same age? No way. There's no way I'd believe that.
Ralph Macchio's on Medicare. So
I mean, if really, when you think it's like, what, how did that happen from one generation to the next? Like, I think someone even pointed out that Ralph Macchio is now older than
Mr.
Miyagi was in the first Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Put those two headshots next to each other. It doesn't even look possible that they'd be the same age or that Macchio was older.
And the girl that plays his daughter, who's supposed to be in high school, is almost 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And on 90210, what's her name? Gabrielle Carteris was 3 years younger than the father of the guy that played. I can't remember his name. James Eckhouse.
Yeah.
They were the years apart were 3 years. She was in high school and he was a dad.
But it really is freakish to think that Trey is the same age as Blanche was the first season of Golden Girls.
Mm-hmm.
Despite all of Trey's best efforts to advance his age through unnatural methods, i.e. Jack Daniels, and he still looks this good. Imagine if you had been less addicted to alcohol, how good you would look.
No, I think I think it's the same thing. I think you just preserve yourself in whatever you drink.
Or actually, maybe that's what it was. Trey drank so much alcohol, he's permanently preserved.
I pickled myself.
You're listening to the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
You're in the Treehouse. Visit us online at treehouseonair.com.
For all things Treehouse, go to treehouseonair.com. That means past shows, links, contact info, and more, all there on our website, treehouseonair.com. That's treehouseonair.com. This is the Treehouse Show. I'm Dan O'Malley, along with Trey Trenholm and Raj Sharma. Big news this week. Disney has announced its first new theme park in 15 years. Did you guys hear where they're opening up the new Disney theme park?
Nope.
Frisco.
Abu Dhabi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Disney is going to build its 7th theme park. This one will be in the United Arab Emirates at a waterfront resort on Yas Island. It's the first time in 15 years that the Walt Disney Company has announced the development of a new theme park. It's expected to be finished in the early 2030s. The last new park was Shanghai Disney in 2016. They announced the agreement to create the resort in Abu Dhabi, UAE. Like I said, this will be the 7th Disney theme park. According to the chairman at Miral, who announced the new theme park with the Disney company, Abu Dhabi is a place where heritage meets innovation, where we preserve our past while designing the future. The collaboration between Abu Dhabi and Disney demonstrates the remarkable results of combining visionary leadership and creative excellence.
And Dan froze up.
Mm-hmm. I've been to Dubai. They have sandstorms that are amazing, and you can see them coming. So can you imagine being in line for like the roller coaster and you're like, hey, what's that big wall coming towards us? And they tried to have the Summer Olympics cut her through their name in the hat, and the Olympic Committee was like, it peaks out sometimes at 125 degrees. So
Yeah,
no.
that's where they said, we're not soccer. For everything you need to know about the Treehouse, go to treehouseonair.com. And you can find all our information, social media handles, everything else at Treehouse On Air, anywhere you look. We'll see you tomorrow.